So this morning, I spent the better part of the morning watching the Hulk Hogan Real American Documentary Series that's on Netflix. And I gotta tell you, it was super emotional for me watching this series because I grew up a huge Hulk Hogan fan. Hulk Hogan was everything to me as a child, especially, as a child that was born with, multiple uh, defects, health defects, just having to have open heart surgeries and surgery to put my liver back in and surgery on each of my feet, all before the time I was 5 years old. So Hulkamania was an escape for me. It was motivation for me. It was inspiration for me. Uh, was a huge Hulkamaniac. Later on as a teenager, my nickname became Hollywood Joe because I loved everything Hulk Hogan did. I believe the Hulk Hogan character is still one of the greatest characters of all time. I think Hulk Hogan, the character, represents so much good in the world. Um, but let's be honest, Terry Bollea was a very complex and, um, you know, controversial person. He, had his fair share of controversies. Um, I also feel like he had a lot of deep rooted issues. You could tell there was certain stuff that he didn't want to dive too deep into. And, who knows where that comes from. But um this is something that's been on my heart for a while now. And it'll probably get me in a little bit of trouble. Sure, I'll get threatened and bullied and harassed or whatever it might be for having this opinion. So I'm just going to shoot with it. And did Hulk Hogan say things that were very racially insensitive? Absolutely. I don't excuse his behavior. I don't excuse what he said. It was flat out wrong. Should not have said what he had said, even if it was in the privacy of his own home, being recorded without his consent. Still shouldn't have said what he said. Um, do I think Terry Bollea Hulk Hogan is a full blown racist? No, I don't. And here's why. And um, this is where what I'm going to say, and some people might hate it. I don't care. I personally feel like the term racist is very overused by people. And here's why I say that. Being a racist means you have hatred in your heart for an entire group of people. An entire group of people. Now, when Hogan made the racially insensitive remarks that he did, he was upset at the guys that his daughter was dating. Okay. That's why he made the remarks that he did. Again, not excusing it. It was uncalled for, unacceptable, ignorant, in my opinion. But do I think Hulk Hogan had hatred in his heart for an entire race, for an entire ethnicity? Absolutely not. I mean, let's think about this for a minute. Logically, would a racist hang out with Mr. T? Would a racist hang out with Dennis Rodman, Shaquille O'Neal, George Foreman? Um, would a racist be friends with Rocky Johnson? Would a racist go to Vince McMahon and make sure that Kamala was being paid better money when he was working main events with Hogan? And that is a verified story from what I have read. That when Kamala was working main events with Hogan, and Hogan found out that Kamala wasn't being paid main event money, he went and got him main event money. Now ask yourself, logically, does that sound like a racist? I'm sorry, but you're never going to convince me that Hulk Hogan, Terry Bollea was a full blown racist. You're never going to convince me of that. Like I said, did he say racially insensitive stuff? Absolutely. And I did lose a little respect for him because of that. But you'll never convince me that this man had hatred in his heart for an entire group of people. Just, you're not going to convince me of that. Um, as far as the political stuff, I could care less what convention he spoke at. To me, that doesn't matter. You know, if I like a celebrity because of their body of work, I could care less if they speak at the Republican National Convention, the Democratic National Convention, you know, NRA conventions, whatever it may be. I don't really care. That is not why I like somebody. I loved and appreciated Hulk Hogan's body of work as a character, as a gimmick, as a pro wrestler in the pro wrestling industry. And do I think Terry Bollea had his flaws? Absolutely. And you know what? This documentary, he will even tell you that he had his flaws and he made his mistakes. And there's things he regrets. Um, so again, I know some of what I might be saying, people are going to disagree with. And quite frankly, I don't really care because it's easy for people to talk crap about somebody when they're no longer living, but it's hard to defend somebody when they're gone. And it's hard to defend even alive. Like I had a hard time, not saying this sooner when Hulk Hogan was alive. But the fact that people, say the things that they say about him without really, really knowing all the facts and not using logic, that's what gets to me. So that's my take on the documentary. That's my take on Hulk Hogan, the character. And that's my take on Terry Bollea, the person. Um, if you don't agree with it, I'm sorry. But at the end of the day, I don't care. So hope you all have a wonderful and blessed evening, morning, day, whenever you're listening to this. So take care and make sure to check out the documentary.